Imagine an ER waiting room with your favorite blanket and pillow, your cat's Pixel and Widget, and your mom's chicken soup. At Dignity Health, we know the only thing worse than being in pain is being stuck in an ER waiting room. So we offer In Quicker. You get an estimated ER arrival time online so you can start your wait at home. It's just another way of putting leading-edge medicine within easy reach. Learn more at strosehospitals.org/ER. Dignity Health, including St. Rose Dominicans, Rose de Lima, San Martin, and Siena campuses in Henderson and Las Vegas. Hello, human kindness.
Picture your favorite McDonald's breakfast sandwich. Maybe it's a sizzling sausage McMuffin served on a freshly toasted English muffin, and the way its single slice of melty American cheese sticks oh so gently to the wrapper. Or is it a flaky sausage biscuit served on a warm buttermilk biscuit brushed with real butter that begs you to grab 2 napkins? Now picture your morning at McDonald's getting any 2 for just $2. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. What's up, everybody, and greetings from Sin City. Well, Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion had a meeting with a bulldozer. That's right, folks. Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, old mansion, I should say, in Palm Beach has begun to be demolished. Usually I get up to report on these stories and I feel sick over it, right? Hardly ever any good news to report when we're talking about this disgusting case. But every now and then we get ourselves a little gem, and that is exactly what it is to see this man's mansion get absolutely destroyed. I think it's a fitting end to that house of horror. A fitting end to a place where not only innocence was taken, but where dreams were smashed and crushed. So it's a good day whenever a place like that is destroyed, knocked down, sold, and forgotten in the annals of history. Because that certainly is not a place anyone should want to even remember after it's destroyed and after all of this is said and done. The fact that something new is going up there is a good thing. It signals change, right? Moving into the next level. And that's what's going on. Things are moving. Things are changing. And what once was basically the base for Epstein and his criminal enterprise is now being razed to the ground. Epstein's dead. Maxwell is in jail looking at serious prison time. And the story continues. Even though Maxwell's in jail, even though Epstein's dead, you still have the other lieutenants who were very much responsible for making sure this whole entire operation ran smoothly. Now, while I'm very excited that this place is getting knocked down and a new start is beginning down there, I would really, really like to see some more indictments for the other co-conspirators that the Fed said they weren't going to forget about, right? Remember? Well, I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. And everybody out there listening, I'm sure, remembers as well. So let's get some more indictments to go along with this appetizer of Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach mansion being destroyed. Right? That's just a little appetizer. It's like getting some, getting yourself some stuffed mushrooms before the meal. A little something to wet your palate. But, the real meal is coming later. And that real meal is Maxwell, being convicted. Let's jump into this article from the Palm Beach Daily News. And let's see what they have to say about Jeffrey Epstein's Palm Beach house being destroyed. Headline, exclusive. Finally, crews begin raising Jeffrey Epstein's former Palm Beach house. This article was authored by Daryl Hoffhines. And there is video in this link, so make sure you go down to the description box and click on the link and go and check out the video as well. Finally! That's the one-word comment developer Todd Michael Glazer offered as crews on Monday began knocking down the infamous Palm Beach mansion that was home to the late sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. A place where he sexually assaulted underage girls and young women in what prosecutors said was a multi-year sex trafficking scheme. Multi-decade, honestly. I mean, we could roll with multi-year, I guess, but we know that this was happening throughout the decades. And it's a shame that it was allowed to occur for so long. And they had this man within their grips for so many different times. And somehow he skates while other people involved with him don't. Talking about previously before the sex trafficking stuff. All of a sudden, Jeffrey Epstein just has a horseshoe shoved up his rear end. But finally, it broke the right way. Finally, things started happening. Epstein was arrested, and you know everything else to get us to here. And the fact that this place is being knocked down now, and that Michael Glazer, this real estate character, is so into it, well, definitely a good piece of news to report on for once. You know, the developer Glazer's like, man, the last thing I want is to have this disgusting eyesore. I mean, you look at that house, right? And don't get me wrong, it was opulent, it was big, but like the interior decorating was terrible. I mean, what did he have? The Russian guy from The Sopranos, Pine Barrens episode, do the interior decoration? You know, the episode with Christopher and Paulie when they're lost in the woods after they go to collect the money from the Russian cat and it goes south. They think they're taking him out to kill him. He gets away. One of the greatest episodes of all time, by the way. If you have not seen that episode of The Sopranos, you got to check it out. One of the greatest episodes of all time. So they go and get this guy, right? And they were just supposed to collect the money from him. So it turns out that he wasn't dead after they thought they killed him in the house, right? So they put him in the car, take him out to this place in Jersey called the Pine Barrens, and they're going to have him dig his own grave so when they kill him, they could put him in the hole. Well, things go not the way that Paulie and Christopher expect, and the Russian cat hits Christopher with a shovel. Long story short, they get in touch with Tony, and Tony's explaining to them who this guy is, that he's ex-Spetsnaz, he killed 16 Chechens, all kinds of stuff. Well, the phone conversation gets broken up between Christopher and Tony, and Christopher says to Paulie, he says, "You're never going to believe this. This guy killed 16 Czechoslovakians, and he's an interior decorator." And Christopher goes, "Really? His apartment looked like shit." And it's honestly one of the greatest episodes of all time. But I always think back to that quote when Christopher's like, "Really? He was an interior decorator? His apartment looked like shit." And that's what it reminds me of every time we talk about Jeffrey Epstein and the decorating in his house. Christopher's reaction with the conversation. I don't know why that triggers that for me, but every single time I have like vivid images of the Pine Barrens episode. The Lakeside Mansion at 358 El Brio Way is being raised to make room for a new house to be developed on a speculation by Glazer, who paid a recorded $18.5 million for the property in March. So he's going to build something else there. He already was talking about some of the plans he has, some a more modern property, something that fits in with the rest of the neighborhood. Like, you know, the Epstein property in its current form, or old form, I guess you could say now, was very old, right? Very old, not updated, different style, and wasn't, you know, catchy like some of these new properties are. and that's the kind of developer Glazer is, I'm sure that whatever he puts on this site is going to be pretty incredible. Glazer previously told the Daily News that it would be personally satisfying to him to knock down and replace the house. Hell yeah, any sort of human being with any kind of heart or a morality compass inside of their body would want to take part in knocking this place down. I would have gladly come over with a sledgehammer or drove one of those bulldozers to smash into this place. Gladly have done it. For free, by the way. Palm Beach real estate broker Lawrence A. Mones, who represented Glazer and helped put together the sale, broke his customary rule about not commenting publicly on transactions in which he was involved. And that just shows you the significance of this property and what it means that it's going to be knocked down and scattered into the dust of history. I can only see that as a good thing, right? Another piece of Jeffrey Epstein's sordid, disgusting legacy chipped away. I only got involved in the sale of Jeffrey Epstein's residence to ensure it would be wiped off the map of Palm Beach, Mones told the Palm Beach Daily News. Yo, that's crazy. Lawrence Mones is a pretty top-notch real estate person in that neck of the woods, and he wasn't having it either. Look, everybody's sick of this shit. Nobody wants to look at that place anymore. Nobody wants to see the house in Manhattan. Nobody wants to hear about Zorro Ranch not being raided anymore. And this guy, Lawrence Mones, who works in the real estate industry, made sure he got involved to get rid of this blight. So cheers to that, Lawrence Mones. Good on you, pal. Permits were issued for the demolition late last week, Town Hall records show. Early Monday, demolition crews from BG Group of Delray Beach used heavy equipment to begin pulling down the walls of the mansion. God, that's glorious. Make sure you watch the video. I was watching it like it was a sporting event. Had a couple of cheers, maybe. Eating a hot dog with one hand, had the other hand in some popcorn. You know what I mean? It's like a sporting event for me watching this place get knocked down. Maybe I should make some odds on how long it takes for different parts of it to fall. All kidding aside, though, if you're looking to have a bit of joy in your life for a little while, make sure you watch this video. Click on the link, watch the video, and enjoy. They tore into it again and again, starting on the east side, where vines still clung to the walls, blooming with flowers that were soon crushed, and eating through house towards the waterfront. Man, that is such a fantastic visual. We don't get very many good visuals in this case, right? At least I certainly don't. Stuff that, you lay there at night sometimes and you think about it and it really, really gets me going. I can't tell you how many sleepless nights I've had since this investigation, since we've started talking about this case in October of 2019. It's been such a grind and such a heavy topic to discuss every day that I cannot even begin to explain to you how much I am looking forward to this playing out. And then to think about how much of a grind it is just covering it. Now think and try and put yourself in the position of the people who actually lived it. And then I look at the grind and I say to myself, this ain't shit, bro. Buckle down, keep it moving, keep rocking. If all of these girls who were abused by Epstein can carry this burden for this long, we can see it through till the end of this trial. But boy, oh boy, let me tell you what. I cannot wait for the convictions to come in this case. There are some other people, I guess, that would love for this case to keep going on forever and ever and ever and ever. But not me. This case has taken up so much of my time, so much of my life, that I just cannot wait to see all of these people that we talk about, the core four, Maxwell, Indite, Khan, for those people to be punished. Because it's been this is day after day, talk about a slugfest. And it just weighs on you, right? This kind of heavy sort of content, this sort of material, it's not easy to talk about. It's not easy to digest. And guess what? It certainly, I would guess, was not easy to live. So that's why we continue to talk about it on a daily basis. That's why we continue to try and bring just a little bit of light to it. In our little neck of the woods over here, we just, we do our little part, right? And there's people out there with way, 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 way bigger platforms that are fighting the good fight too. But me personally, I know that it's going to be a very good day for these survivors, especially when this thing is finally said and done. And when somebody takes a bulldozer, not just to Epstein's house, but to the rest of his legacy. By noon, debris littered the ground as broken windows pierced walls that remained standing. And still intact was much of the second-floor balcony that overlooked the water, connected to the pool patio, below by a graceful spiral staircase. The residence had stood since 1952 on an acre facing 170 feet on the intracoastal waterway at the end of a quiet, dead-end street in the estate section. With a total of 14,223 square feet, the three structures being raised include the main house, a pool cabana building, and a separate building used by household staff. The swimming pool is also being demolished and filled in. I tried to talk my parents into filling in my pool when I was younger and turning it into a roller hockey court. Yeah, it didn't work out so well for your boy. My parents have a junior Olympic-sized swimming pool in their backyard, and they were always complaining about how, pain in the ass to take care of, this, that, the other thing. So I offered a great solution. I was like, look, we can turn this into a roller hockey rink, right? And then we can switch it into a basketball court every now and then. Unfortunately, they weren't into it. So I have a sneaking suspicion that Mr. Glazer isn't going to be making a hockey rink in his backyard either, unfortunately. Epstein hanged himself in August 2019 in a New York City jail cell, allegedly, after he was arrested on federal charges of conspiracy and sex trafficking of underage girls. Fort Lauderdale attorney Brad Edwards represents about 50 clients in various legal actions who say they were abused by Epstein. The demolition can be viewed in some ways as cathartic, he said. I agree with that, and I said that from the jump, that it would be a cathartic experience for some of these survivors, right? Seeing this place destroyed, it's significant. It might not be to other people on the outside looking in, but to these survivors who were abused there, it's significant. I think that the symbolic power of destroying the House of Horrors cannot be overstated, Edwards said. Hey, that's funny. I call it the same thing, Brad. Great minds think alike there, pal. I can imagine there is going to be some amount of relief that the nightmare of what went on at that house has been buried to some degree. 100%. It doesn't fix everything, right? It doesn't make the things that happen any better or make them go away. But it's a step in the right direction, and it's one more shot to the face of the Epstein enterprise. Epstein paid $2.5 million for the Palm Beach house in 1990, Palm Beach County courthouse records show. In 2011, he transferred its ownership from his name to an entity named Laurel Incorporated, a company registered in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Oh, all on the up and up, too. There's no offshore shenanigans going on over there. I mean, it's not like the Finson files pointed us in that direction, or the Panama Papers. Nah, none of that ever occurred, right? The house was designed by West Indies-style architecture by the late John L. Volk, a prolific Palm Beach architect. Epstein extensively remodeled the house in the mid-1990s, records show. Yeah, he definitely went in, did some remodeling, fixed it up a little bit, kind of modernized it. But honestly, with that kind of money, that house is a complete eyesore. I mean, I guess it would have been cool in the 50s or 60s or something, but we're talking about the, 21st century here. A white box. When designer Daniel Maynard of LaBerge and Maynard presented the demolition request to the board in December, he said little remained of Volk's interior detailing. I spoke to a person who worked on the renovation, and it appears everything was gutted, so there's nothing left, or very little, of the John Volk period. It's essentially a white box. Well, yeah, that's what it looked like. Generic as hell, right? Again, you would think a mansion like this, you would put some doskies in it and make it pop. The property offers views of Tarpon Island and Everglades Island, smaller islands that lie just west of the barrier islands that comprises Palm Beach. Epstein was initially booked in Florida in 2006 after police said he had sex with underage girls whom he paid for massage sessions at the Palm Beach house. Michael Ryder, the former Palm Beach police chief who years ago led the initial investigation into the accusations against Epstein at the house on El Brio Way, responded to a request for a comment Monday. And we know that Michael Ryder was one of the only people who really was going hard in the paint here when we're talking about law enforcement or the higher-ups. The former owner of this house did unmeasurable damage to the lives of countless children and was able to corrupt the legal system to the point that the courts have called it a national disgrace. Now, this is Ryder saying this, okay? Somebody who knows what's going on in this situation. Somebody who has seen the paperwork. Somebody who has seen the evidence. While it is critical that we learn from this tragedy, it is nearly as important we follow with doing everything possible to erase any connection of him from our community, said Ryder, a Palm Beach resident who today runs his security and investigative firm. In 2008, Epstein entered a controversial plea deal that led to his conviction on 2 state felony counts that included solicitation of a minor. He served nearly 13 months in the Palm Beach County Jail before being released for a year of probation on house arrest until August 2010. Well, we know that he didn't do a year, right? He was in and out all day. Just went there to sleep. Wasn't there like a real inmate. His plea deal let him avoid harsher federal charges similar to the ones he was facing in New York when he died. Last week, justices of the Federal 11th Circuit Court of Appeals issued a 7-4 ruling against Epstein survivor Courtney Wild that said she had no legal recourse to unravel the 2008 no prosecution agreement that stemmed from his arrest in Florida. What a travesty. What a travesty and miscarriage of justice that is. I'm not going to go too heavy on that, considering I've talked about that at length already, but man, oh man, they should be embarrassed of themselves. Epstein could have faced a maximum sentence of 45 years in prison had he been convicted on the federal charges he was facing when he died. In July, authorities arrested Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell in New Hampshire on multiple charges related to Epstein's alleged sexual abuse. She remains jailed without bail. Oh, but she remains running her mouth, and the Suck Squad continues with their nonsense. And I see that Newsweek, huh? Is going hard in the paint with it looks like some pro-Ghislaine type of literature. Should be embarrassed of themselves, but it's Newsweek. What do you expect? Talk about a rag. And the authors over there. Wow, what a joke. Just go ahead and read some of the articles. I'm not reading any of the articles from that rag on the podcast because it's straight garbage what's going on over there. But man, oh man. Talk about puff pieces. New house in the works. Glazer spent much of his career in real estate development, restoration, and renovation in Miami-Dade County before entering the Palm Beach market about 3 years ago. Among his most prominent projects in Miami is the 1,000 Museum condominium tower downtown. Now, I've never seen any of these projects, really. I don't, know much about architecture, but I'm sure if you check out in Google or whatever, you could check out some of these properties. And in this actual article, there's a picture of one of them. Pretty badass looking house, no doubt about it. Acting opposite Lawrence A. Moan's associates in the March sale was listing agent Kerry Warwick of the Corcoran Group, who represented the executors of Epstein's estate. The Architectural Commission has not yet reviewed plans for the house Glazer wants to build on the lot, but he told the Daily News last fall it would likely measure about 13,000 square feet. Any design must be signed off by the architectural board. So it's kind of like a homeowners association or a grand collection of Karens and Carls, right? That's all an HOA is, basically. So they'll have to sign off on it and make sure that the plans fall within the scope of the community. The Palm Beach house was among several homes Epstein owned across the country and in the Caribbean and in other countries. His historic Upper East Side townhouse at 9 East 71st Street in New York City sold in March for $51 million after being listed at $88 million. According to published reports, the townhouse sold to an ownership entity linked to retiring Goldman Sachs executive Michael D. Daffy and his wife, Blake, property records show. They plan to renovate the residence, New York Times reported. An independent survivors' compensation fund has been established, but in addition to survivors, others are pursuing money from Epstein's estate, including creditors, according to media reports. Of course they are. The vultures are all at the corpse. Everybody wants to wet their beak. Everybody wants a taste. Even those who are working with Epstein have tried to position themselves as victims. But one thing is certainly clear, folks. The days of anybody being molested in the Palm Beach house on El Brio, those days are long over. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All right, everybody. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. As for me, I'll be back later on, and we'll pick up where we left off.
DreamBank knows that dreams take hustle and hard work, and they thrive with connection and support. Visit amfam.com/dreambank to join our community and explore our free events and resources designed for dreamers like you who do believe and achieve.
Imagine an ER waiting room with your favorite blanket and pillow, your cat's Pixel and Widget, and your mom's chicken soup. At Dignity Health, we know the only thing worse than being in pain is being stuck in an ER waiting room. So we offer In Quicker. You get an estimated ER arrival time online so you can start your wait at home. It's just another way of putting leading-edge medicine within easy reach. Learn more at strosehospitals.org/ER. Dignity Health, including St. Rose Dominicans, Rose de Lima, San Martin, and Siena campuses in Henderson and Las Vegas. Hello, human kindness.